Welcome to Salesian Agricultural College, Pallaskenry. Derek O'Donoghue is my name. I'm the principal here in the college, and I welcome you to this evening's webinar where you'll get the opportunity to meet both our staff, teaching staff, and students past and present as they tell their story of their educational experience here in Pallaskenry. So we're just outside our new rotary milking parlour. We're 8 weeks in the milking parlour at this stage, so we'll just do a quick tour through the milking parlour before we actually go into the studio. So this is actually the 4th milking parlour here in Pallaskenry, and will it be our last one? We're not sure. So it's a 50 unit Dairy Master milking parlour, and in relation to facilities, it is all the mod cons that a modern milking parlour would have and that we can demonstrate to students. So first of all, just to look at the rotary, 50 unit, feed to yield, automatic cluster removers, teat spray, and it's all stainless steel. We have a 32,000 litre bulk tank, which is just as we come along here, and we have our milk collected twice per week. So it is a big step up for us. So if we just come through here, and this is the bulk tank, and as like all modern technology, everything can be monitored from the phone. So we'll go now from the bulk tank and we'll just go to where the operator works, and we have a moving platform floor which gives greater operator comfort. Again, as a training college, we have students of varying height, so we have to be able to accommodate that. So just as we come along here, you will see the blue mesh, so that's a movable platform, so that can go up or go down. And again, it's particularly for our own staff that are milking here full time, it allows them the ability to raise that up and down. We also over here have an underpass going underneath, so when we're milk recording, that takes place in the centre, and again for student safety, that is a hugely important feature. So then to the back we have a collecting yard, so the collecting yard can hold 500 cows. We're currently milking 440, and to the other side of the collecting yard then we have the full automation, automatic drafting, AI crush and handling crush. So that's just an overview of the physical structure here. So we now just go to the overhead gallery. So now I will take you to the overhead viewing gallery, where you'll get the opportunity to look at the rotary from an overhead bird's eye perspective. So from up here you can see the complete milking parlour, so the 50 units. In the background you can see the collecting yard and like I said, are the facilities where cows exit, and the drafting facilities, and ultimately you can see right into the centre where the milk recording takes place. And the big benefit of this is students get to see both it on the ground and overhead. So that's a very quick overview of the rotary milking parlour. So now for the remainder of our evening, we will go and we'll meet our student guests, we will meet our teachers. We have a full packed event. We have students from a wide variety of courses, and they will tell their experiences of studying in Pallaskenry. Okay, welcome everybody to our virtual open day, our open event, and for a second year running we're doing it in a virtual environment. So tonight we have a very informative lineup for you. So for the next hour or so, our focus tonight is really going to be on students, and from that, look, you will get a very good insight into the range of courses that we deliver here in the college, but more importantly the career aspects and where education in Pallaskenry can lead you to. So we have 8 individual students, we have 4 separate sessions, and we have 4 of our teaching staff will facilitate each of those 4 sessions. We have students from Cavan to Kerry, so we have a very wide geographical spread, and we have students from all the courses we deliver here in the college. We have a question and answer function at the bottom of your screen, so I would encourage you to engage with all our participants, all our panelists. Any questions you have that you want to ask of any of those, please feel free to do so, because we have a number of staff that will be, some of those we will answer live on the night. Anything we don't get to, we will answer tomorrow. So please do engage with us. So without any further delay, I'm just briefly going to introduce the staff that will be carrying the session for the next hour or so. So the very first session we have will be Richard Williams. So Richard will be dealing with the students that are on the agricultural courses. Then following that, Tyg Brosnan will have 2 students that have on our mechanisation courses. Then following that, Rachel Clancy will be covering the distance education, and again we have 2 students that have an hour on that course. And then finally at the end, Niall Blake will have a family feature as but 2 past students, father and son, from the same family. So their experiences across, I suppose, a wide range of years in terms of when they studied in Pallaskenry. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be really, really informative. So then dealing with your questions and bringing your questions to the panel will be John Flannery and Eamon O'Flaherty. So I'd encourage you, engage with the question and answer session, a function at the bottom of your screen, and make it really interactive. So without any further delay, I will go over to Richard Williams and I'll ask Richard to introduce himself and to introduce his panel.
Thanks, Derek. So as mentioned, Richard Williams is my name, and I'm the dairy enterprise teacher here in the college. So tonight I'm joined by Sinead Walsh and Aaron Hickey. So Sinead, we might start with yourself. Could you give everyone a bit of a brief background on yourself and I suppose where the interest in farming came from?
Sinead Walsh, I'm from Loophead in County Clare. I suppose I grew up on a farm all my life. My grandfather used to drag me out and you'd go counting cattle, backing out farms and stuff. So I suppose that really brought the interest on a small bit more. Unfortunately, at home, my brother's there, so I stepped away and went out on my own. We have 200 cows at home, so there's enough with the father and the brother in the room without me. So.
Very good, very good. And Aaron, I suppose similar question for yourself. Bit of a background there on yourself, and I suppose how you got into farming.
I'm Aaron Hickey from a small place, Trorina, County Limerick. I done my leaving cert in 2016, and I kind of didn't really know what I really wanted to do. And after another college course, in 2017, I went to Pallaskenry, so I truly enjoyed it. Also, we run a calf to store enterprise at home, and since I was a young fella, really running around the farm, helping my father. That's kind of how I enjoyed agriculture and how I got into going to Pallas.
Good, very good. And Sinead, what made you pick the advanced dairy course?
We're dairy at home, so I suppose that really brought it on. I wasn't around softwares to really understand it more than dairy. So and plus when you're rearing calves and stuff, small calves rearing, that sure is great enjoyment out of them running around the place. So
good, very good. And Aaron, I suppose could you tell us what course you're doing and how are you finding it and how have the Zoom classes been throughout the year?
Grand, the ones I got anyway. I'm currently doing the beef management course, and anyway, no, it's been very enjoyable. I'm learning a lot about sustainability and environmental aspects of agriculture, which probably is going to be massive in the future. Also regulations and grassland management with Eamon and sustainability with Niall. So
happy,
very happy.
Good. I suppose, Sinead, is there any standout memory for you from your time here, be it from going on industry visits or visiting farms, or what stood out for you?
I suppose the main thing with Pallaskenry was the work experience where we were placed, and I was very lucky to be placed with Danny Birmingham in Dunbeg. He's a heavy soils farmer. I learned loads there. I think that was the best experience I had, was going out and meeting different farmers and gaining experience of the different types of farms.
Super. And I suppose, Aaron, what are you enjoying most at the moment, or I suppose in that regard?
As I'm over 23, I'm doing my placement at home, and which I'm enjoying, but we have to complete this diary, and kind of when you see it first, like, you're kind of saying, oh my God, how am I going to get this done all in one weekend? Like, but I'm kind of filling in week on week in. And for myself, I'm kind of seeing at home where I'm going wrong, what I have to improve, and which is kind of really helpful at home too, like, you know. And also the teachers too and the lecturers just go beyond and above for you, like, so any questions at all or any way they can help, they will help, like.
Aaron, what's your plan? So you should be finishing the course in the next few weeks. So what does the future hold for Aaron Hickey?
Continue the home enterprise at home from what I learned from Pallas, and I'd also like to move on to do my level A course either in any IT. I never thought I could actually go on and have the confidence to go on and further study, but Pallaskenry and everyone at Pallaskenry has kind of gave me the confidence to do that. It's kind of what I really want to do. Like.
Very good. And I suppose, Sinead, since you finished up here, where have you, or what have you done since?
So I left Pallaskenry in 2018, and in August in 2018 I moved to Cork to manage a 300 cow dairy herd farm. I managed that for 2 years, and I always wanted to do AI and scanning of my own. So I took the leap in September just gone, and I went out on my own now, finding it very well. I love the breeding. I've really got into that now. So loads of customers, loads of AI. I'm delighted with it now. Like.
We're going to hear great stuff. And I suppose, did you find like the likes of the applied livestock breeding module here a big help then? I suppose.
Oh, huge help. I'd say without that, I'd say I wouldn't have gone down this route at all, or even to have a chance of managing a farm to even gain that more experience. Pallaskenry have great facilities to even learn, not even in the classroom, but outside the classroom. I'm a very practical girl, so we were out about loads, and I think that's where I learned most about the breeding and different types.
Very good, very good. And I suppose, Sinead, then how did you find, say, when you finished up to going on to the farm? So when you started work managing on the farm, how did you find that?
Finishing college to the farm, it was a big step. I was actually nervous, thinking I wouldn't be able for it. It was a great opportunity, and you know what, I think I put all the effort into it, and I did change a lot on that farm. So yeah, I with Pallaskenry, without Pallaskenry, should I say, I wouldn't have got there. Like.
Aaron, I suppose, any advice you would give to a student considering doing a course here in the college?
If you're interested, kind of just go for really. Be open-minded to what the lads are telling you there. I know myself, listening to my father at home, kind of, you think he'd knew it all, like, but John, everyone there kind of definitely kind of helped, and you learn a lot. Also, if you're going planning to stay at home for farming for the rest of your life, it's kind of a 2-year gap to learn more and make new friends and contacts, and also enjoy a few nights out in Limerick too, hopefully in September 2022 or 21.
Perfect. And just finally, Sinead, anything you want to add to that? Any advice you'd have for students considering the course here?
There is a load of opportunities out there, 101 different types for young farmers going into this, regardless whether you're going home or not. So if you find it, just grab it and hold on to it.
I see John is popping in there. So John, have you any questions for either of our panelists?
Aaron, there's a number of questions coming in, and just as Derek said, keep the questions coming in, and when we can, and we'll answer them here on the night. But regardless of that, we'll have a questions and answers section on our website and social media platforms in the coming days, answering any queries that we don't get to tonight. So just a few questions coming in. Okay, so David has a question there, and I'll give this question to Sinead because you just touched on placement, Sinead. How did what you learned in college prepare you for your work placement? So we know the student, Sinead, does work placement at level 5 in first year and level 6. So were you prepared for it?
Placement puts what you learned in college in perspective in my own eyes. You can actually see how it's done in the real world, if you want to put it like that. Going out like that, grass measuring, it's all good and well, and they show you in the college, but going out, doing it, let off on your own, on work experience, it's a big step. It's a big step.
Okay, perfect, Sinead. And Aaron, another question in. I'm not from a farm. Do you think I would be at a disadvantage if I came to Pallaskenry to study here? So obviously someone has an interest in agriculture, but not necessarily coming directly from a farm. Would that affect them?
Not really, no. Coming to Pallaskenry, like you have a wide range of different mechanics, sheep, it's very broad, like, so not really. Like I've learned a lot about sheep and I've learned a lot about mechanics that I would have no interest in or didn't have great knowledge in before starting the course.
Yeah, okay, perfect, Aaron. And a question here, and we'll move on then after that one, Richard. And I'd like to hear maybe an opinion or response from both Sinead and Aaron, because I know the answer from these two people. Are there opportunities to play any sports while at college? So Sinead, back to you.
Yes, there is. There's loads of opportunities. I wasn't a big sports one, but the teachers there, like yourself, John, kind of pushed yourself into it, and you get a bit of crack out of it. You get to know friends and other people at the college that bit more by going out and having the fun on the field and stuff like that.
You did join our football team, Sinead, didn't you?
I did, John.
It's out before COVID, but hopefully we'll all get back to more days again. And I suppose, Aaron, you can answer it, being a good Limerick man.
Yeah, we done the hurling, John, myself. We went to a few, where did we go? We went to Pilltown for a tournament, and then we went to Mallow, and no, it was good crack. Like, you get to know people more, and kind of the things in colleges where you learn a lot of lectures too, but off your peers, like, and you're still learning to this day. If you have a problem, you can pick up your phone, you can ring fellas that might have the same interest in you or might have the same difficulties too, like on the farm at home. So
yeah, perfect. So they were good days out and a bit of fun and banter on the bus up and down to various pitches.
Your red cards too.
Sorry?
Your red cards too.
A few, but I mean, they have to use them. Listen, Richard, there are a few more questions coming in, but we might move on if you want to introduce the next panel.
Yeah, look, thanks a million, Sinead and Aaron. Look, we really appreciate you coming on. Very informative chat. Thanks a million. And now we'll hand over to Ty Brosnan, who's going to go through a bit in the mechanization course with two former students.
Thanks, Richard. Good evening. In the college, we run 3 mechanization courses: the higher certificate in engineering and agricultural mechanization, the add-on Bachelor of Eng to level 7, and the advanced certificate in mechanization as well. So what I have is 2 past students that completed mechanization courses at the college. Sean did the higher certificate in engineering and then went on and did the add-on BEng, and Shane McGovern did the advanced certificate in mechanization then as well. Look, Sean, I suppose, welcome, lads. It's great to speak to you and just to catch up a little bit. Maybe, Sean, first you might fill us in a little bit on your background.
Yeah, I started in Pallaskenry in 2016. A bit like the lads said there, finished school, didn't really know what to go at. Had an interest in mechanics, and we still wanted to do my green cert at the same time. So we went to Pallaskenry. I done the CAO course and got in, and it was a 2-year course originally. Done the 2 years, and we got the green cert out of it as well, and then done the 3rd year add-on. The course, very interesting. We done a good bit of practical, a lot of theory as well, but it was all linked into practical stuff. We'd be more practical minded than theory minded. But anyone that'd be interested in something practical, anyhow, it's well worth looking at it.
Very good. And I suppose, Shane, just to give us a little bit of background on you and where you're from, and you came from a different path.
Well, my name's Shane McGovern and I'm from Cavan. And the more than Sean, when I finished my leaving cert too, I was going around scratching my head. I didn't know what to do with myself. And I says, sure, I might as well do the green cert anyway. And I went to Montbellew and I done the 1st year of the green cert in Montbellew, and a couple of the boys from the mechanics course came up and they were just on about the higher cert and, what you gain from doing it and all this. And I about even going to America. And sure, of course, every lad was jumping when they heard they might be able to get to America. And that was one of the reasons I just said, sure, we give it a go anyhow. And I went down to Pallaskenry that September anyhow. And Jesus, to be honest now, I couldn't really recommend the course more of a try. Like, in fairness, the lads, they do anything for you. And it's not like secondary school. Like secondary school, every lad thinks college is the same as secondary school. It's not. Like, the lads is there to help you. They will help you if you want to learn. But if you don't want to learn, you are as well just stay in bed. Don't bother getting up in the morning. Like my original plan was that I wanted to go farming and maybe go traveling for a couple of years. And that's why I started doing the green cert. And then, sure, I heard about the course in Limerick and I went down to Limerick and sure, decided, sure, why not? And I done that. And then I applied for the placement and I went to America then for 8 months. And anyone that's going down to do ag mechanics course, I recommend, I don't care what age you are or anything, just when you have the chance to go away when you're young, I strongly advise it.
Shane, as part of the course, you went to the US on work placement. We might come back to you a little bit about that in a moment. Sean, as part of your course as well, you had to complete work placement and you took a different option there to Shane. You might tell us where you were and I suppose how it benefited you in your current career maybe, or how you see that it benefited you.
Yeah, I started work placement with a local mechanic. Don Murray was his name. We went mechanicing and fixing and repairing machinery. And after a couple of months, I went working with Declan Geary. He's another mechanic, and I just wanted to get a bit on board, see what way he do it a bit different. But just kind of late. I was sorry I didn't go to America or go out when I had the chance, because it's kind of something that you probably won't end up doing now. And at the time, I said I wouldn't do it. But just looking back, any of the college fellas that were with me were delighted they done it, and kind of sorry I didn't. But I probably wouldn't ended up what I'm at now if I didn't do this either.
So you can win either way, like kind of.
Oh, I'm working with M&S Machinery in Cashel. They're the New Holland dealers for Limerick and Tipperary. I'm at sales from, but it kind of led in bit by bit from the placement I was doing, kind of linked my way in along there. But
and look, we'll come back to you where you're working now in a minute. But Shane, you went abroad, and you might just give us a little bit of a snap picture of when you were abroad, what you were doing, and the opportunities that you got, and I suppose how the course here prepared you for that trip.
Yeah, no, I applied to go away. I suppose it's in around nearly the 2 weeks before Christmas. You apply to go away, and you just pretty much you fill out the thing, and you just kind of put who you'd prefer. Well, not who you'd prefer, but what kind of would you rather go on a farm or on a custom crew or whatever. And like that too, the whole lot of us blowing the room, and everyone was, oh, we go to this lad, you get more money, but you don't know who you're going to. It's up to them to decide who they want based on whatever way you fill out your thing. And no, that was grand. I actually got the Snapchat memory on my phone from 2 years ago today, actually flying out of Dublin. So this day 2 years ago I flew out, and I came home, was it the 18th or 19th of December, just before Christmas. Like, we were finished up, I suppose, the end of November. I could have come home maybe the first week of December if I wanted to, but sure, I said, when you're away, you're away. There's no point rushing home. Home will always be there.
And what did you do outside there, I suppose?
Well, I went to Forest Brothers, their custom harvest crew, and they had 6 lorries and 4 combines, and the 4 brand new combines and two brand new tractors every year. And there was me and a lad that actually was in Montpellier with me as well, and he came down to Pallaskenry with me and ended up working for the same person in America. And we were just harvesting pretty much. We're out there like people to be iffy enough for going out because you get stuck with the one job. Like, you could sit in a combine for 6 or 8 months and you could get fed up of it. But like the lad we were with, everyone's like, he's 70 something years of age, he's not going to let you do anything. Well, we had the time of our lives with him. He gave everyone a fair chance at everything. Like, you got to drive the combine. Like me and Gavin, the lad from Galway, the one with me, we took it in turns. me and him, like we picked a truck and picked a combine, and I'd say to him, "Oh, we're at this farm now. There's what is it, 400 or 500 acres. Sure, you drive it for this one, and I'll drive the lorry. And if you want, we'll swap over the next one." And that's the way we worked it.
So you've got an opportunity at everything, which is great.
Yeah, you got a fair chance.
Yeah, and it'd be great to hear more of the stories, but we're limited a little bit by time, and we just want to get an overall picture maybe from both. Sean, you might just fill us in how the course helped you where you're at now, and how the course, both the level 6 and level 7, helped you, and then we'll go back to Shane and leave him speak about where he is at now as well.
Yeah, well, it helped in the way that, first of all, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I went down to Pallaskenry, I wanted to get my green cert from the start. And I wanted to do something in mechanics. And then I had my heart set, no, I wanted to be a mechanic, But doing the placement in kind of got it into my head, I didn't want to be a mechanic. It's fine and all, but I wanted to do something different. So if I didn't have all the placement to do, and we didn't do the practicals in Pallaskenry and see all what mechanics was like, I'd have probably went off training to be a mechanic. It's something I probably wouldn't have wanted to do anyway. So
yes. So you're a salesperson now for M&S, and that's going well.
Yeah, it is going well. It's something I like, and we seem to be going all right anyway. So
yes. And Shane, I suppose just before we get to Eamon, maybe because there is a few questions coming in. What are you currently working at, and where would you see yourself going?
Well, at the minute I'm working for Ponzi Machines Ireland Limited. I'd say I'm about the only lunatic in the country my age that's involved in the timber business. It's a Finnish company, and they sell timber harvesters and forwarders, and they're based in Laois, and that's where I am at the minute. I come down on a Monday and stay here till a Friday, and I'm doing an apprenticeship with them.
Right. And you're doing their mechanical work and repairs, and both in the workshop and out on the road as well, is it? Yeah,
we do usually varies. You get kind of fairly even. You'd be in the workshop doing up secondhand machines, and you're doing up secondhand machines that's traded in, and maybe PDI and new ones before they go out. And then if you're out on the road, like all the services and everything like that, that's a full day's work out in the forestry, like.
So I see Eamon up there now. So Eamon, is there some questions for the lads maybe?
Very good, lads. Yeah, there's just a few questions coming in here on the chat. So we're just reading one here. So I might throw this one to you, Shane. So do the lads doing the agricultural mechanizations course get much experience on machinery when doing the course? So whether that be in the college then or as placement as well. So you kind of touched on that already with the harvester, but did you get much experience?
Yeah, you would in fairness, but like one thing I will say, like I seen lads in our that came down to do our course. You go to Pallaskenry because you want to get good at mechanics and farming. It's not all about driving tractors and working for contractors. It's nothing got to do with that at all. And a couple of people came down and they got their eyes open. If you want to like be a mechanic and get good at it and learn, I couldn't recommend it more.
Very good, Shane. I suppose then just another question then I might throw to you, Sean. So just a few people looking in the chat maybe to give an idea of what projects you carried out and made during your time below on Pallaskenry.
Yeah, the first year we were on Pallaskenry, you could do two. You could do a fabrication project or a mechanical project. One was where you brought in your own machine, tractor or whatever it was, and you rebuilt it or done whatever had to be done. It rebuilt an engine, done the brakes, do whatever had to be done. The other one was you could do a fabrication welding project where fellas made end levelers and dog splitters, rollers, made every sort of thing, turnover crates, everything and anything. But the third year then we done another one with more technical projects that we done. One crowd done one for weighing bales and Meister meter on a bale wire. It was just more technical stuff. But I'd advise anyone that will be doing the 3-year course that they do a mechanical project for 1 year, say do up a tractor or fix something like that, and maybe do a mechanical one or do a fabrication one then as well. That to be good to, I done two mechanical. I done up a tractor, done up a quad, but I should have split it. I should have done one fabrication. suppose you'll learn as you go on.
Very good, Sean. So look, I'm just conscious there of time as well, so we might get some more questions there towards the end. I might hand back to you, Ty.
Yeah, thanks, Eamon. I suppose because of the time constraints, it'd be great to catch up a little bit more with the lads. And I'm sure that they have plenty of stories to tell of their time in Pallas, both of you. Thanks, lads. It's been very informative. And again, if there's questions at the end, I'm sure the two lads or myself will be happy to try and answer them. We'll move on to the next section now. I'd like to introduce Rachel Clancy, one of the college teachers that's going to discuss distance education with you in the next section.
Thanks, Ty. Hi, everyone. So my name is Rachel Clancy. I'm a college teacher and distance education coordinator in the college. So I'm going to be joined by a current student of the college and a past pupil. So Deirdre and Connor are just going to talk about their experience on the distance education course here in the college. So I suppose, Deirdre, we'll start off with you. You're a past student of our course. Will you just set the scene and give us your background and I suppose how you developed an interest in agriculture?
Yeah, thanks for that, Rachel. So I come from Clymer in West Clare. Originally, I grew up on a suckler farm with my parents there, a small suckler farm. Didn't have a whole lot of interest in farming in my youth, but I went on to study nursing. Went to London subsequently after that, and I returned home to Ireland in 2015 then, where my husband was full-time dairy farming. So that's kind of where my interest kind of became more apparent as I got older, I suppose. So got more involved with him in his business. He was leasing a farm and dairying on that. And then I left nursing full-time then in 2017, November 2017, to pursue a career full-time in dairy farming.
Like the nursing, you know, instead of caring for humans, you're now caring for animals. So there is a lot of similarities with the between agriculture and nursing. And I suppose to come to you, Connor, you're one of our current students on the distance ed course. Will you just tell us a bit about yourself and where you developed your interest in agriculture?
Yeah, so I'm from Killala in North Mayo, but I'm a primary school teacher currently. I'm teaching junior infants up in Dunboyne, and I graduated 2 years ago. But I kind of developed my interest through farming because at home Dad's a dairy farmer, milking about 140 at the moment. And since I could walk, I've been out helping him on the farm. And obviously you have a lot of time off with teaching the weekends and the school holidays. So I'm helping out as much as I can at home, and I have a keen interest. So in the future, I'd like to do something with it there.
And I suppose, Deirdre, you might just take us through the running of the course you completed with us. So there was two different options, a school holiday option and a Saturday option. Just take us through the option that you chose and I suppose why you opted for that preference.
Yeah, so I went with the school holiday option, which was kind of more block learning, kind of a week in every 2 months or so, I think it was, if I recall correctly. And it kind of linked in really with student holidays. It suited well because I could manage my time quite well, and it suited me to be able to, you know, kind of block learn all the modules. And I suppose we were giving a lot of the information in advance, so we knew what to expect in the weeks prior to coming in, so you could have your prep done. Yeah, so it was just convenient from that point of view. Yeah, and from a travel point of view as well, it suited, yeah.
And Connor, I suppose you were actually on the same option as what Deirdre completed, the school holiday option. Just tell us about the course. It has changed since Deirdre was in the college, and I suppose how you're finding it at the moment.
Yeah, well, so I'm graduated 2 years now from college, but the first year I was kind of thinking about doing the Green Cert, and at home the only option was really to do it on the Saturdays, which is an option in Pallaskenry as well. But I opted for the holiday option as well, and it just suits better with my profession as a teacher because, you know, you're off and it's easier to manage it, especially time wise. And as well as that, all the practical days that you have to go down to the college are during the school holidays. But everything else is online then on the new Salesian Ag platform. So your tutorials, exams and assignments are on that. And it's all detailed and outlined well in advance, so you can plan and prepare weeks out, like you know well in advance. It's easy to manage, so it's really good.
Very good. And Deirdre, after you complete the course, what did you learn from the course? And maybe mention one of your favorite aspects of the course.
Yeah, God, it's hard to pinpoint one thing, I suppose, in particular, but I suppose one of the things that was very impressive about the college was before there was ever a rotary there was a lot more practical things done in the college in terms of, changing the herd and focusing on genetics. I took a lot from that. Paddock management, grassland management, roadways, and these are all the small practical things that I could take back home straight away to our business without a huge investment. So that was very useful for me during the course, yeah.
Very good. And I suppose, Conor, you're only a few months in. So I suppose, have you learned anything from the few months in? Hopefully you have. And maybe what's your favourite aspect of the course so far?
Yeah, well, obviously, as you said, I'm only a few months in now, but I'm loving it so far. And I can't really pick out anything that's been my favourite. I think it's all very important. I've enjoyed it all so far. And I've never done an ag course before. Like, I never did ag science in secondary school. And I've been years working on the farm at home, but I never had kind of the proper terminology and the understanding of it. That's really just enhanced my knowledge, and I can see how it impacts. I think everything's important that you learn. Like, it's just another cog in the wheel, and it makes everything work. And you can see how you can apply it at home as well. As been really enjoyable.
Yeah. So I suppose what you're learning, you'll be able to bring home and to the farm at home
exactly,
in the future farming, dairy farming up in Mayo. So Deirdre, I suppose, how did the course benefit you? You're at home full-time farming since the completion of your course. Is there any changes you've made at home on your farm since you finished at the college?
Yeah, so we were a bit delayed in completing the course just due to COVID, but I suppose we've had a very busy year in the last year. We're expanding the business, and just this week we've set up our second unit. So we're milking 290 cows now this year over 2 units, and that's on our owned land. So that's very exciting, and so that's where we are now at the moment. And I suppose our focus going into the future now will be to focus on looking after the animals and I suppose genetics, and definitely soil fertility and grassland management. So
exciting times ahead for you. So at home on the farm, and so Conor, your plans for the future after you complete the distance education course?
Well, obviously finish and get through it all first anyway, and then just all the knowledge you gain from it, kind of just applying it and seeing how it works at home and getting the chance to use it on the dairy farm at home. And I'd like to, when I finish it, get involved in farming some way in the future. I know I'm teaching as well, so we'll see how things plan out in the future, really.
See how it goes in the future is right. Look, I see John has popped in there. I'm going to finish off by asking you both the same question. And Deirdre, I'll come to you first. What advice would you give to someone thinking of completing the distance education course here at the Salesian Agricultural College?
Yeah, look, I would definitely recommend it to anybody who has any interest in farming or taking on the family business from a family member. I mean, for us, it has really, initially I had my reservations about completing it, and I've done a lot of courses on that, and I kind of felt, oh, do I really need it? And I was so surprised at how much I got from it. And I suppose the benefits are so huge as well once you have the whole course completed. I think it can't be ignored, and that young farmers need as much help as they can get really to survive in this landscape, or to get a good start. So for anybody considering it, I would definitely recommend it highly.
And Conor, I suppose same question to yourself. What's your bit of advice for someone?
Yeah, same as Deirdre. I would highly recommend anyone to do it and not think twice about it. I was kind of hemming and hawing about it, say last year, especially when I was looking at the Saturday option, because I'm playing football at home as well, and that was kind of reluctant. I was reluctant a bit to do it, but once I saw the holiday option, and especially the way it's laid out now, you have the new platform for it. It's you're told well in advance, and you can really plan and prepare, and all the lectures are really helpful. And any questions or advice you need, it's easy to get, and I would tell anyone to definitely do it while they can, especially now at the moment when it's online. It's easy to plan and prepare no matter what you're at, as well, like at home.
Very good. Thanks, Conor and Deirdre. So I suppose we'll go to you, John. Have we any difficult questions for Conor and Deirdre? I'm sure they've no bother in answering them.
They're not difficult questions, Rachel, but they're interesting questions. There's a number of questions coming in as in relation to the distance education course. Hi, Conor, Deirdre. Is there a reasonable amount of time given to complete and submit projects and assignments? So maybe, Conor, you're currently on the course.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. With the new platform, they send you out the timetable, the whole course's timetable, so you can really see what's coming up when. I've printed off and have it stuck on the wall in the bedroom, and as things come up, I kind of just cross it out. And you really have loads of time, like, and you're sent emails and texts as well, just as a reminder. So it's really easy to keep on top of things, like.
Perfect, Conor. That was actually a second question. Will I be given a timetable showing me when my exam? So you've answered that. Perfect. Deirdre, the distance education students come from all walks of life and professions. Were there opportunities for students to draw on their own experience in class discussions? I suppose what I would take from that question, you're a nurse, we have teachers, accountants, solicitors, tradespeople. Did everybody have maybe a contribution to make during class discussions or practicals, or what was your experience?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I suppose there was huge value to that with people coming from different backgrounds. Like, there's people, full-time construction workers that were, using all these new innovative technologies, and they were able to go through that in class. Or, there's full-time farmers then who would be able to provide a little bit more information to people who weren't as familiar with farmers, because I suppose at some levels it can be quite basic, and that's good too for people who don't have a huge background knowledge as well. So yeah, definitely people from all walks of life, it definitely adds to the value of the course, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and maybe just one more question, Conor. So it's from Michael. I believe that classes and tutorials are now online, so that's Zoom and COVID related. So do I need to attend all classes, or will they be recorded? I often work shift work. So
no, I have the same issue. I know they've changed them. First, at the beginning of the course, they were you could join them live, but they were also recorded. You send the link later, but now they're all gone to pre-recorded ones, and you just do them whenever suits. Like, I had the same issue. I'm working, and for me to travel home, it takes about 40 minutes, and I could never join it live, but I could just plan around my own schedule, and I was able to, once I got sent the link, do it at a time that suited me. So it's easy to work.
Perfect. Thanks, Conor. Rachel, there are a few more questions coming in. We can answer them later on on our website tomorrow anyway. Okay.
Thanks, John. So thanks a million to both Deirdre and Conor for joining me this evening. Deirdre, I wish you the very best of luck in the future with your farming career. Conor, I suppose you have another few months to go yet before you see the back of us. So, but I do wish you the best of luck with the remainder of your course. And look, as John said, we will be available for any questions people might have at the end of the session. So thanks a million. And I'm now going to pass you over to Niall Blake, he has family members to bring on.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Niall Blake. I'm a member of the Agricultural College staff of long standing. I'm delighted to welcome Dennis and Owen Lyons to the session. I taught both Dennis and Owen, obviously some decades apart, although it has happened that I have taught some father and son combinations, and the son followed the father by only 3 or 4 years. Dennis, I remember meeting you at an open day a few years ago, probably prior to when Owen started, and you came back to the college and you had a look around. And it may have been you who asked me, "Are you still here?" I suppose there's no answer to that question, but anyway, I'd like you to tell us what changes you saw in the college in the 30 years or so since you had been, and prior to when Owen started.
Yeah, different changes there, and mostly, I think there was 120 students when I was there in 1983, and I think most of us, we stayed that time. Now, when Owen went, nearly all the lads were with cars. Now it's not the little bambinos, and by the time they were finished with Audis. So it's either youth are getting better, or else there's more money in farming. I don't know the story, but I think you nearly said that yourself now, as the students nearly have better cars than the teachers. So that's an advance. But different changes, definitely, Niall. Definitely. The dairy side of it there, we had only 6-unit double up parlour when I was there in 1983, and it was a 12-unit double up when Owen was there. So, and you've since possessed now to rotary, so upwards and upwards for Pallaskenry in the dairy section. Very good.
Yeah. Actually, the 6-unit double up that you're talking about began as a 6-unit single.
Was it?
And
yes.
It started its life in 1966. And I say yourself and myself are the only people on this chat that could actually locate it at the moment. It has been erased from history.
Yes.
And now, as Derek said in his opening, we're on parlour 4.
Yes.
The third parlour lasted from 1993 to just recently.
Yes.
And the first parlour started in 1919. So we're kind of architects of history here. Owen, could I bring you in here now and tell us about the courses that you did in the college and what you gained from them and how they have set you up for a future in farming?
Yeah, well, I suppose I started with the basic green cert, and we done a year at that, and we done our 3 months of placement. And then I always had in the head that we are always dairy farming at home, and I always had dairy in the head. So I decided that I'd go on and I'd do the advanced dairy as well on top of it. And I was delighted to do it, to be quite honest. It opened my eyes. We went on a lot of trips out to see different farms and different setups and robotic setups and rotary setups, all these different types of things. So it was great to go out and do the 2 courses and spend the 2 years there. It would have been a waste really if I hadn't gone away and done the second year, to be honest.
Dennis, you've been farming now since the 1980s, and you were aware of the course that Owen did. And how do you think the course has changed in order to meet the needs of farmers nowadays, and how farming has changed in the 30 years or so since you started, and how agricultural college courses have changed in tandem?
Yes, I think there's more emphasis now on placement in denial to get the students to get more practical work at different systems, and it seems to for me looking the outside in compared to when we were in your time, as I said, back in '83, it seems to be more hands-on, I would say.
And would you regard the training that Owen has got in Pallaskenry, and I know he's still learning as he goes along, would you regard that as being a kind of a good platform for him to come along and take over and give you a pair of slippers in the next 10 years or so?
Yes, This well, Niall, the retirement age is after going up to 68, so I'd have to wait for them slippers for another bit, but I suppose you never actually retire from farming, as we all know. We always have an interest, but it's great to have the youth coming in. It's great to have the youth coming in, and you can't beat the fresh blood. And Owen and myself have actually got into partnership here now on the farm in the last year, and only in the last couple of weeks we've gone refrigerated here on the farm. So qualifying for the 60% grant and everything. So that's great. But so definitely all the place that Owen has seen and he's putting into practice here on the farm, and definitely is helping the farm to enhance its value, definitely.
If I can remember back to the year that you were here, Dennis, in 1983-84, there was a fellow county man of yours who was also a leader of a panel speaking team who went on to become very well known. Could you tell us a bit about some of the other students who were here in your year?
Yes, I suppose Niall, definitely our claim to fame is that we had the one and only Michael Healy-Ray in our year. And not giving away Mikey's age, but he was only 16 when he started with us in 1983. And he was as good at vocal then as he is now. And fair play to Mikey for what your success and more and upwards.
Owen, can I get back to you again and just give us a bit more detail on the placement that you did, and any courses you may have done since you left Pallaskenry, and what you're doing now? Just a bit more detail. I heard Dennis say himself are in partnership. So just to kind of fill in it and flesh out a bit more of what your current situation is.
Yeah. Well, I done my first year placement below Carrick-Tuchel, below Cork. We were given a form to fill out, and all I wrote on the form was I wanted a lot of cows and in Cork, thinking that a lot of cows would make things easier, and in Cork that the cows would be out early, but the cows out early didn't work that year. I went away to England for a summer, and I done a harvest in England, and I came back and I decided I'd stay closer to home. I was beginning to miss Mom's cooking, so I said I'd stay a bit closer to home for that one. And I went to a man in Castle Island who had 120 cows. But in fairness, in both places, I brought home small little bits, but every little bit was a help. Got to see a lot of different techniques, and it was it was good to go out and see and meet fellas that were able to. We'd all sit down some evening and have a cup of tea, and we'd chat about where he started and how he managed to get to where he was, which was all a help. It's kind of given me a bit of guidance for where I want to go with our business here at home. I suppose I finished the course then, and Dad was still at home, and he's only a young fella all the time, so he was handling away all right. And I was managing a herd of cows in Clarny for a while. So I was at that for about a year, and I went back to England then again for another harvest. And I came home that fall, about September time, and a local man up the road who works for Munster AI contacted me saying that they were looking for milk recorders to go out and train their new system, that they'd brought out a handheld system. So I said, sure, yeah. I said, I'll give that a go. And I went out training the handheld for the first couple of months. And the following spring, they gave me meters, and I've been on the road milk recording as well since. It kind of just ties in very well with the two of us. Like we're expanding at the moment, and it's kind of an expensive time building a business when you're expanding, so there wouldn't be a wage for the two of us. So I can go away in the morning, I do my milk recording, and I can come back and I can tear into the jobs for the day, and like that again in the evening I can head away when Dad starts milking, and I'll be back again in the evening. So that's what I'm at the moment. I'm milk recording. But look, hopefully in the next maybe 12 months, I'll be able to come off the road at that, because we'll have built our numbers enough to come home and stay at home full time then, hopefully.
Well, it's good to hear those plans for the future that yourself and Dennis have. Eamon is coming in with a couple of questions for you, so I will hand over to Eamon.
Great stuff, lads. It's great to see you in the right colours anyway, Dennis. It's always good to see a few Kerry contingent here to keep myself in tight company. So just maybe for you, Owen, you mentioned some of the trips you went on Pallaskenry. Is there anyone that stands out, maybe a farm or any type of system that you thought was particularly interesting? Or
yeah, like that. We went to see a couple of different systems. We went to very high input, high output farms, and we went to very low input, low output farms. We also went to see buffalo one day. That was kind of something unique, watching these fellas coming into our parlour, big bullocks, oaks, but no, they were all good to see. There was one man out in Limerick. I can't honestly now remember his name. I can remember everything about the yard, but I can't remember the man's name. But it was the line that I always wanted to go down, which was a high input, high output system, and he had big cows and the way he was feeding them and things. And I found that trip very interesting. Like that, we used to go to see robot parlours, and we went to the Abbey factory one day for a tour. So we saw an awful lot actually that year. We were on a trip nearly once a week. We were heading off somewhere, often plenty of crack on the bus, and seeing all these different places, and fellas having cows out early, and like myself, men from Kerry, we were kind of flabbergasted seeing all these cows out in early January, giving out them. But no, it was great to see it all the same, you know.
Great, that's great. So you saw a wide variety of places. So just for you, Dennis, I suppose, question coming in here. So I suppose from your own point of view, were you happy to see Owen following your footsteps, maybe first going into the agricultural route and then following your footsteps, then attending the Salesian Agricultural College in Pallaskenry?
Definitely. When I took him up to Pallaskenry, he just took it. He took to the college thing straight away, and he said he wanted to come, and he got there, and he's kept it up ever since. As I say, yeah, great interest in the farming, and it's just nice to see the new blood coming up. And yeah, that's what all farming you can be a thing, but you need the next generation to continue on the scene for you. Definitely.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Thanks, Dennis. So I just, again, a small bit conscious of time there. So I just might welcome back in some of the rest of the panel just to, I suppose, finish off in our Q&A session here. So I think Derek, there, if you want to come in.
Yeah, look, thanks, Eamon. I suppose most importantly, look, thanks to everybody for contributing tonight. We've ran very much over time. We thought we would have 10 minutes at the end for questions. We will finish within an hour, so we really won't have time for additional questions. But we will. Every question will be answered separately outside of this. The recording, the virtual event has been recorded and will be available on YouTube, so via our website and our social media platforms tomorrow. I think, look, from whether it's from Sinead, Aaron, Sean, Shane, Deirdre, Connor, Dennis, Owen, the opportunities out there are vast. There are very good and rewarding careers. And I suppose most importantly, to have an open mind, whether it was Sean Sampson talking about his decision not to go down a mechanic apprenticeship after going on placement, or whether it was Deirdre switching her career from nursing, hugely important to have an open mind. There are enormous careers there, and if anybody has looked at the farming press this week, farming is in a really, really positive place at the minute. Tractor sales are up, milk prices up, beef prices up, lamb prices up. So while other industries are struggling, agriculture is going well, and there are, as Sinead said at the very start, huge opportunities out there. So in terms of the course that we offer here in the college, so anybody that's interested in doing any of our full-time courses, if you go to our website, www.salesianag.ie, all the information is there. For our full-time courses, closing date is the 30th of June, apart from the higher cert in engineering, that's CEO, so you maybe still have time to do a change of mind there. But if you have any queries, phone us or email us, as we're no different to what the students past and present would have said about teaching staff. We're here to help, so don't hesitate. So thanks very much to all our student guests past and present. Thanks very much to all our teaching staff, and I suppose really in the background, thanks to Declan McArdle for hosting the event and doing all the video footage for us. So hope you found it informative, and we hope to see some of you next September. Thanks everybody, and good night.